Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Creative Chats podcast. My name is Leslie Bradley. I'm a local Gold Coast filmmaker photographer, and on this week's episode I have my good friend Alex Matha, a filmmaker director from Griffith. How are you, Alex?
Good, Leslie. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. So this is actually the second time trying to record this damn podcast. First time batteries on this damn microphone ran out, but turns out I can plug it into my laptop and get consistent power through that way. So slowly learning the ropes of podcasting as we go. So I wanted to get into the questions. So first one, how'd you get into filmmaking?
Oh, probably in the early days of high school where me and my mate would, create little videos on an iPhone. I remember this one time we recorded, like we were really into video games.
Yep.
So we recorded some footage off of his TV, but we didn't really have any way to, we didn't really know about screen recording or any of that. So I remember just setting up an iPhone in front of the TV with like this makeshift tripod. And, from there we'd like record some gameplay, and then later on I would edit it in Movie Maker on my old Mac.
Movie Maker, that's going back a bit, isn't it? Jeez. Yeah. A lot of people start their YouTube career on Movie Maker, believe it or not. Like they always talk about 10 years ago.
All you need really is you don't need fancy effects all the time. No. You just need to be able to piece things together.
You just need a timeline and a little bit of file management, and you can, as long as you can cut and paste, and that's pretty much all you need.
Yeah, so then made a few of those, put them on YouTube. Obviously, didn't take off on YouTube. So,
why aren't you a YouTuber now earning millions of followers? Huh? It's consistent, man. You should have kept up with it.
Probably because I remember this one video, one of the first ones I made. It was like backed by a Skrillex track, and if I watched it now, I'd probably just curl up in a ball and roll away.
Is it still on YouTube?
Maybe. It was probably on one of my oldest YouTube accounts. I'm not sure what it's called. But
I'm tempted to go down the YouTube rabbit hole and try and find it, and then post the links. Well, I actually did pretty good last time. A friend dared me to do it. I found it. So
probably the earliest memory I have of, making something, recording something and putting it together.
What made you want to do that? Because a lot of kids aren't, they're outside playing games and things like that. But why bring up a camera? And
probably because, I idolized a lot of people on YouTube and a lot of the things that they were doing, because I was into games. Obviously, I watched a lot of YouTube stuff with gaming. So I thought, hey, this would be pretty cool. I want to give it a crack. And that is, the earliest memory I have of, picking up a camera and recording something.
As I said in the intro, we both went to the same uni, Griffith Uni in South Bank. So because you had filmed quite a lot by yourself outside, making little videos and whatnot, why did you decide uni was the right move for you versus just going out and creating content?
Mostly because I grew up in a little country town, and it would have been hard to, well, not hard, but I figured the best move was probably just to, go to university and, try my luck at that. I wouldn't have known where to start, I guess.
Do you think you need uni nowadays, or having gone through that? Do you think that was worth your time?
Yeah, I definitely do think it was worth my time. I think that, because I was able to meet so many different people, it's kind of built a network of people that we work well together with.
Because I know there's a big debate about whether to go to uni or just go out and make content. Because nowadays you got YouTube and Vimeo and all sorts of things on the internet that you could easily find out how to make things.
Yeah, well, I think if you're very self-motivated and have a clear direction for what you want to do, then I think that perhaps you don't need uni. I think that uni for me put me on the right path. It's a tough question because everyone is different with how they do things.
That's kind of why I ask it in the podcast, because everyone's going to have a different opinion and different point of view on it. I think it's quite interesting to sort of compare everyone's different experiences.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that Australia being so like small in terms of the film industry, I feel like going to uni is probably a better option, just because the uni will have ties to certain filmmaking avenues that perhaps you wouldn't be able to find on your own.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of the lecturers, or most of the lecturers, are actually working now in the industry and doing their own little things outside. So, like you said, they obviously have their own connections, and they can sort of, if you do well at uni, they can pass those on and teach you sort of the tricks of the trade and sort of get you in that way.
No, definitely. It's presented some, amazing opportunities.
What were some of the opportunities during your time at uni?
So I got to work on the Commonwealth Games back in 2018. All the music videos that we were able to do that were, quite spectacular. All the locations, we were able to film in Brisbane City Hall, which was, quite spectacular. And there's so many things I could just keep going on, but I'm extremely grateful. Definitely don't think I would have been able to do any of it without film school.
So how was your time at uni? How did you find it? Because obviously going into it, you didn't know anything at all. So how was your opinion of it? How do you think the classes were?
I think for the most part, the classes were, good. There was lots of variety. Looking back, I think I probably would have done different courses.
Okay, what were some of the courses that you've done?
So going into film school, I was like, I want to be a writer-director. I feel like a lot of people going to film school saying, hey, I want to be a writer-director.
Yep.
And, I think that I questioned that during film school. I wasn't really sure after having done those electives that directing and writing was for me. So I kind of, during my time on projects, I'd just, work in the camera or lighting department. And, I enjoyed that a lot. So it's only recently that I've figured that writing, directing is in fact for me. And it's something that, I definitely want to pursue.
And what was the turnaround point for that? Because, coming from I want to be a writer director to maybe not, I want to go somewhere else, to coming back into that. What was that turning point that made you want to come back into it?
Well, I think it was a process that went over a long period. I'd always, write down things, we'll have ideas in the back of my head, and I'd go and write like a 10-page script or something, and then be like, hey, that'd be cool to make. And, never really made any of those things. But I think that, writing these little things here and there, I was just like, hey, maybe I should try and, pursue writing and directing.
So you got a lot of stories in the backlog that you can bring up one day? Yeah,
definitely. I was just looking at things that I wrote 2 or 3 years ago. They're not good, but I wrote them.
Well, the interesting thing is that, because I have a lot of stories as well that you sort of, keep on the back burner, because, obviously when you wrote them, you've enjoyed them, there's something about it that you liked. So I think it's definitely worth keeping a hold of the older stories that you've had. Maybe they don't turn out to be exactly how you wrote it before, but maybe some parts of that you can pick and choose which ones you want, and then combine it into something bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
So what was the biggest thing you learnt whilst at uni?
I think Probably the kind of people that I like to work with on things.
Yeah. Well, I guess going into it, you don't really know who the type of people you like, the type of genres that you like. So I guess over the 3 years, I assume you've sort of, clicked with certain groups and different types of personalities. And, I guess as a creative, it's kind of important to, stick with people that you like working with, that you want to work with more.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're only bringing each other up, which is the whole point of it, really. Like trying to, get the best out of everyone.
So what happened after uni? 3 years at uni, and then what's happened afterwards?
So wrote a bunch of scripts actually for a web series that I'm trying to, make eventually.
Okay. Yeah.
I made a proof of concept for a pilot, hoping to get made eventually.
Yeah.
Just looking at different avenues, trying to figure out who wants to fund it, because obviously, part of being a filmmaker is looking for money.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's one of the hardest things to do out of uni, because everyone thinks that, okay, uni, I'm going to spend 3 years, and then outside I'm just going to make a bang-ass script, and then I'm going to get it out, and everyone's going to want to invest into it, and it's going to be on Hollywood in 2 years' time.
No, you just got to keep at it, really. Yeah, so I made that. We filmed that at the start of the year.
Yeah.
And, I kind of had this idea that I was, going to pitch it to, well, not pitch it, but apply for funding through Screen Queensland.
Okay. And how was that process for you?
It was, it was definitely learned a lot. It was, a lot of like just filling out details, and I sent in the proof of concept with all the, the pitch documents, all the supporting documents, the crew CVs, that kind of thing. And then, I didn't hear for like, a couple months. In the end, we didn't get it, unfortunately, but
hey, sorry to hear.
There's, there's other ways you can get funding. So I'm just trying to, trawl through that and figure out what to do next. Yeah. So just released Pick It onto YouTube, which is, the proof of concept for my web series. I launched it through the My Road Reel competition.
Okay. For those who don't know what that is, what's that competition about?
So it's just, I think it's a pretty big competition. There's a lot of prizes, a lot of cash. And I figured, hey, if I'm going to release it, I may as well release it into a competition, It's just another avenue to get something made, cash prizes. I could make my whole web series with it. So I just figured, why not? I'll give it a crack. And, I finally got to release it online, which is, what I wanted to do anyway.
Why did you choose to go the funding route, and rather than just like try and fund it yourself and then just release it on YouTube?
I feel like YouTube is a good platform, but I feel like to get something noticed on it, you have to kind of be lucky, if you know what I mean. Like, I know I released the web series the proof of concept on YouTube, but that was just because I wanted to get it out there. But if I was going to make this web series, I'd want to do it right. And I'd want it to be bigger than what I could make it on with just my own resources.
Yeah.
Because what I have envisioned for it is, a lot bigger than what I could do on my own with just, my own camera, or, I want it to be a professional production, I guess. And, have that marketing strategy behind it, all the advertisement,
The team of people.
Yeah, the team of people to help get it out there and get it noticed.
So do you have any other projects going on at the moment that you could sort of film and get on YouTube in the meanwhile?
Yeah, I'm always writing little things here and there. I've got one thing that I'm potentially going to try and make by the end of the year. Just, going through the scripts at the moment, trying to figure out what kind of direction I want to take it. Because it's probably the polar opposite to what Pickett is. I'm just trying out different things. Trying to figure out what it is that I like to make.
Is it another web series or like a short film or documentary?
It's more just like a short film kind of deal.
Okay, yeah. So what's next after Pickett, apart from this other project? Like, do you have anything else going on? And
well, I'm trying to get, one of my goals is to get onto a big production as, a runner or like a PA or a lighting assistant. So, I'm just trying to, email a lot of people, just annoy them.
Yeah.
Whether it works or not, I'll find out. But, I'm meant to be helping on something in a few weeks, just for like 8 days or something as a lighting assistant on a web series.
I guess it's one of those things that you kind of have to try everything and anything at the moment that comes up. You can't really be picky about what you do.
No, well, half the time. Most of the time I'm thinking, oh, do I really want to do that? And then the other part of me kicks in and I'm like, of course you do. Of course you do. It's the only way that you're going to get stuff made is, just there's always that one part that says, oh, I don't know if I want to.
Yeah.
And then the other part is like, well, just go and do it, even if it's not paid.
Well, I've noticed, like you mentioned how like you want to try and get more into the bigger productions and things like that. I mean, luckily we're being in Queensland, we have a lot of bigger productions coming to the Gold Coast and Brisbane, because Green Queensland recently opened up their Hammond studios, and we have the Roadshow studios down here. Elvis is filming at the moment. I'm not too sure what other things are coming. I think Netflix has got a few things.
Young Rock, or whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah, Young Rock. Yeah.
Series based on Dwayne Johnson's childhood, I think.
Yeah.
So I applied for that.
Same. I think everyone, their mums applied for that.
What role did you apply for?
I applied for an AD assistant. So just running around grabbing whatever, teas, coffees, or grabbing extras, things like that, doing paperwork. I
applied for lighting assistant. I don't know if that's an actual role, but I guess it is, just lighting department. Camera attachment, PA or runner. Just
nice. Just put your stuff out there.
And then I wrote in brackets, I'll do whatever.
Please just get me on or do whatever.
Yeah. But I'll probably send another email, just saying, please.
Well, see, I applied for the Elvis one originally when they started wanting people to apply for it, and then I heard nothing back from them. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should have sent a follow-up 2 or 3 emails just to make sure that they know that I'm there and like, hi, don't get lost. Please don't lose my email.
Yeah, no, I think they probably get, hundreds of applications. And they probably just put them in a folder and wait.
Yep. Well, see, one thing I've found interesting about all these different roles and what they're looking for is that, because I worked on a feature film called Bloody Hell as a camera attachment, and a lot of the guys there had worked on, like Star Wars and a whole bunch of other King Kong and Pacific Rim and things like that. And looking at their CVs on IMDb, like they've remained consistent in the work that they've done, whether it was just, camera attachment, camera assistant, focus puller for a few, and then B camera for a few, and then A focus assistant, like all these things that they've slowly worked their way up. And I've noticed that having experience on shorter films and documentaries and anything basically you can get your hands on in the role that you want to do would help so much in getting the role that you want on these bigger productions, because I think one of my problems is that I've got, sound, lighting, directing, producing a whole bunch of different things and nothing sort of really consistent.
Specialized. I'm very much the same.
That's
I've done camera and lighting.
Yeah.
I suppose that's probably my 2 big things that I've done is, working in the camera and lighting department.
Yeah.
With a few directing things here and there.
I think we're all in the same boat, people that come from uni having worked on multiple productions and different roles and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess some of us have like, some of the big roles that you want to highlight, like, the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games or, a feature film or TV series you happen to get a job on. But I don't think those sort of bigger roles, mean too much, I guess. It's the amount of work that you've done in that role, which is, experience.
Yeah.
No. So
definitely.
I guess that's something that I myself would want to focus on more in the future. You could say the same thing, or if you want, but like working on multiple productions, trying to get the experience needed to remain consistent in a certain role to then apply for these bigger things.
Yeah, definitely. Because you want to write and direct too, right? Is that what you're?
Yeah, I want to mainly write and direct. I wanted to originally do work my way up to features eventually one day, but having going through uni, and that's really sort of shaped my perspective on what I want to do. Like, I wouldn't mind doing a few TV series, things like that. Netflix type of style. I find that quite interesting now because they can. I mean, TV's evolved now from just Home and Away and Neighbours to something a bit more story driven, a little bit more sort of cinematic, if you will. You know what I mean? I mean, look what Disney Plus is doing with Marvel. They're tying in TV series in with movies. That's sort of never been done before, really, on this sort of scale. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment. But sorry,
limited series is pretty great as well. Limited series, small 10 episode series, and that's it. Chernobyl is a pretty fantastic limited series. If you've seen that,
I haven't, but I've got it on Blu-ray to watch sometimes. So, but
definitely
even anthropology series like Black Mirror was really good. You know what I mean? That sort of got a really good traction. You haven't seen Black Mirror?
No, I haven't. It's on my watch list, but it's just one of those things that I always think, I'm like, do I want to watch it? I don't know if I'm in the right mood to watch it.
It's actually very fascinating because the first few episodes in season 1 takes a while to sort of get into. Like, what the hell is this? Like, what's it all about? Because being in anthropology, every series is different. Like, it's not sort of tied together, but it's tied together in a way that's talking about the sort of same sort of things in that, because Black Mirror, if you don't know, refers to your phone being like a black mirror when you look into it. So it's all about how technology sort of takes over our lives, and at first you think, okay, this is really great, but then really what's the issue behind that? You know what I mean? So it's very, very interesting and sort of, it can be a little bit scary because we all think technology is great, but when, what happens if it gets in the wrong hands or it's taken too far? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, because I think there's one episode, talks about a rating system. So, like, instead of paying coins, it's via a rating. Because, we all like and share and, 5-star service for Uber, but this is like, interactions with people. So if, for example, they'd be rating this podcast now, you know what I mean? Like, how's your experience with the person? That's sort of like a payment, you know what I mean? And I think if you get down to the lowest star, you die or something. It's quite interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it's, TV and film is evolving all the time. And I think we're in an interesting time where, technology is evolving. You've got VR and AR and things like that. And as a content creator, these devices will always need content no matter what.
That's cool. Yeah. So at the moment you're just doing like videography kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, throughout the last year of uni, I'm mainly focused on like branding and sort of working out, the business side of things, like the documents, the contracts, things like that.
Yeah.
And this year I've mainly focused on the website, getting that up and running, and designing a few pieces of content and whatnot, which I've posted, and trying to sort out the podcast, which is all this here now. So I'm in the sort of content phase, if you will. And then from there, going to try and get into videography more. So like, the real estates, the branding, the weddings, all that sort of stuff to try and bring in money. And then from there, my plan is to use that money as funding for my own short films, which will then pitch to Screen Queensland and try and get investing for bigger things.
Yeah, funny you say that. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the guy was able to, make a feature film with the money he'd earned and the gear he'd bought throughout his, all his videography stuff that he'd done, like working on big commercials. And I actually watched his feature the other night. It's, I'll plug it. It's called The Vast of Night.
The Vast of Night. Awesome.
Definitely worth a watch.
Where is it? Netflix?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, another service.
Very good. It's a very, very good movie. Well done, well shot. Do
you know what it was shot on?
No clue. But it was, looked very nice, aesthetically pleasing, and, the story was, compelling, and, throughout there was a lot of intrigue. So, yeah, definitely recommend that one. And if you want to, check out the interview with the director, it's, I forget what his name is. Let me just check.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up an interesting point in that, that's kind of what I'm hoping to do, in that, I don't have the latest camera. It's a 5D Mark III that's, 6 years old now, something like that. But, I think everyone's still watching 1080p video. Not everyone has a 4K monitor or TV that they're watching, you know what I mean? So I'm quite happy with, the camera at the moment. Obviously, I'd love to have RAW capability and autofocus when I'm filming, but, that could be an upgrade in 2-3 years' time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, at the end of the day, you use what you got.
That's it, you know what I mean? I don't think I'd shoot a wedding with the iPhone, but, some people can literally start off doing a few little gigs here and there with their iPhone, you know what I mean?
No, exactly.
And I think what else is interesting is I was watching this dude on YouTube. His name's Ty Turner from Flash Film Academy. I'd highly recommend his videos. Like, the dude talks about more on the business side of things rather than actually like going out and what camera to use, and this is how you light. Like, he's like, no, this is how you base your pricing structure. This is how you contact customers. This is how you deal with complaints, and a whole bunch of different things. And he's really, really good. So
that's half of it, I reckon. Well, probably more than half of it is, being able to, find that work and, make yourself a professional, essentially.
Well, if you're following the 80-20 rule, 80% of, videography is the business side of it, and 20% is actually going out filming. It's crazy how these sort of analogies work across everything, and an interesting thing is with Ty and Flash Film Academy, what he's done a couple of times is when he's got a client and they're like, okay, we want this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, it's going to be $10,000, right? And they've included the price of the camera into the actual price of the quote. So they essentially go out and buy a Blackmagic or, a new Canon C, whatever, and use that as like the camera that they film with, but they've purchased it via the money that they've gotten from the job. So that was kind of interesting, what I mean? So instead of renting out the camera, they've included it as, we're going to purchase the camera for this project, but then we have that camera.
They essentially just pay it off.
Exactly. So I thought that was kind of interesting in that a lot of people go out and rent, or, if the camera's cheaper now, which, these days Blackmagic's like under $5,000, give or take.
Well, yeah, so even the Pocket, it's $1,600. So, like, yeah, you can just get one of those.
Oh, that's it. Is that the first Blackmagic?
Yeah.
Is it that? Because I know they had like a little small one, like a little point and shoot type thing.
I don't know what's happened with that.
Yeah, that's kind of died off now, and they're more focusing on the Ursas and the 6K and all that now. It's crazy. It's crazy to think that everyone's like going on about the 4K and the 6K, the cameras, but then they buy it and then they realize, oh, I don't have the computing power to handle all this or the hard drive space, and so I think that's kind of like something to think about when you're buying all these cameras. Is that
a big investment if you want to get into videography, especially 4K videography. If you want to deliver in 4K, edit in 4K, then you're going to need a super rig of a computer, unless you use like proxies. But
I mean, if you're dealing with 4K, 8K, and all that, you probably would use proxies. But still, the hard drive space to handle all that, like you're gonna need a beefy computer.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, what the hard drive, the SSD drive for the Blackmagic Pocket, 1 terabyte, you're probably looking about $300-400 just for that.
Really?
And then you have the battery system. Well, the Samsung SSDs. Yeah, you're looking at $300-400 for one of those.
Oh,
and then
T5, whatever they call it.
Yeah, T7, T5, something like that. Yeah. And then you got like the V-mount batteries. I've noticed that they're starting to become a little bit smaller now for like gimbals and handheld rigs, which is quite nice. A 98 watt hour little V-mount thing, but you get 2 of those and a battery charger, and you're looking at just over $1,000. We're going to wrap up the podcast. So I have 3 questions that I ask everyone at the end of every podcast. First one is, out of everything you've done so far, what would you change or do differently, and why? Another hard question.
That is a big question again, Leslie.
It's I'm always asking the hard questions.
You got to cut out this awkward space though in between, so I don't look like I'm
Well, you go from this one point to like this other point, and then you like that.
I don't know. I'd probably try and get on more projects in like my first year of uni. Yeah, because I didn't really, do much other than the projects that the uni provided. Like I probably would have liked to, establish myself a bit earlier.
Yeah. And, I'm sort of in the same boat. A lot of people, worked on 2nd or 3rd year projects early on, and I'm like, how the hell did you get that? Like,
yeah. Well, I did a bit of that in the 2nd year of uni, but the first year I would have liked to, do a bit more, I reckon. Yeah. But, I was just figuring stuff out still.
Well, we didn't really know that you could do that, because a lot of first years would be like, okay, well, it's first year uni, I know nothing. Like this is, we've got a lot of things going on, and we can't really, have time to do the 2nd or 3rd year projects.
Yeah. I also probably would have, liked to probably try and establish myself as maybe a bit of a, videography kind of business as well.
Okay.
Well, not. I don't know if a business, but I would have liked to do some more videography.
Just on the sideline outside of uni.
Yeah. So that way, when I graduated, I could probably support myself with just videography, and But other than that, man, I loved being at uni. The people I met, I wouldn't take any of that back. Just try and establish myself a bit more in the first year.
Absolutely. Second question, what's your favorite film and why?
Oh, I actually had this the other day.
Also asked you last podcast.
I have the answer now. I watched it the other day and I was like, man, this is a good film. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's up there. Interstellar by Chris Nolan.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely.
What inspired me to watch, I was listening to the soundtrack the other day on my phone, and I was like, man, I want to watch it. And I watched
You're on a train, you're looking out the window, you listen to bloody Hans Zimmer going on.
Yeah. No, it's got such a sense of intrigue. Like the whole time I'm like, man, there's so much wonder and,
Yeah.
you know, what's going on, like, and just, you know, the way that the timelines all like intersect at the end. Like he always like creates his movies on, you know, different timelines. And
there's like multiple levels to it. It's not just the, you know, the linear story. There's like upstairs and downstairs and a whole bunch of intertwining.
Yeah.
It's just,
there's the one scene towards the end of the movie where McConaughey is in, you know, in the, what's it called? Where all like the realm or something. I don't know. All the he's in
behind
the
the
bookshop.
yeah.
And then it cuts
spoilers.
It cuts to inside in the room with it where his daughter is, you know, and she's about to break the laws of gravity or whatever. And then so you got two timelines there. And then there's the other one, which is it's cutting back to when she was a child, the daughter, and it's just like, man, there's so many different intersecting layers, but it all makes sense.
Yeah, because it's those moments where you're like, oh, that happened before, and that's it. Oh my god, it just blows your mind.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is the whole time difference between, you know, like dude's out in space, they come down to the water planet for like 5 minutes, say, and then they go up and it's age like 60 years. I'm like, how does that work out?
Yeah. Nah, man.
Apparently there's like math around that. Like it's actually a thing.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Such a good movie. Like such a good space movie, adventure movie, and just, you know, the music just ties it all together. It's quite a sad movie too. Like when I was watching it, I wasn't happy watching it.
Yeah.
Like,
kind of anger at the end.
The poor guy. I don't remember the first time. It's probably the second time I've watched it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But definitely up there as, you know, one of my favorite movies.
Well, Hans Zimmer puts a lot of emotion and feeling into his songs, especially that one where they use the organs and he sort of like lets the hum, you know, play out, and it's like, you know, vibrate around the room, and it's just...
Yeah, let's be different. Yeah, I think I read that too somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know where I read it from, but like that's an interesting thing. You know, just letting the filmmaker sort of just like, you know, there you go, I trust you, do whatever you want. Yeah,
well, I feel like Hans Zimmer is one of those people that you can just, you know, trust instinctively.
That's it. It's like, oh, you've had some bangers before, but I don't know if I can trust you or not.
Yeah.
Have they worked before? Interstellar, those two?
Yeah, I think they did all the Dark Knight trilogy together, Inception.
I have a terrible memory.
And then they did, you know, Tenet as well together. So
yeah, that's got some really bad reviews, Tenet. So like 50-50.
I like the music in that too. Have you seen it?
I think they just released it at the wrong time. No, I haven't.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
I'm sort of 50-50 on it as well. I'm like, it looks intriguing, but...
They should have just delayed it, I reckon.
Yeah.
Because,
like everyone else is doing. Everything's coming out in 2022 now.
I was excited for June, new film.
Oh, June, yeah.
Yeah, but they delayed that till October next year. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's for the best, you know, because, you know, at the end of the day... Sorry?
They want to make a return, so they've got to. Yeah.
You know, it is after all a business, and a lot of money is involved. Like, you know, because it's not just, you know, money just come out of thin air. Like these production studios literally have to put in the money themselves up front, and hopefully they get all that back in return, plus heaps more as a profit. So
yeah, good year for films.
Yeah, absolutely. Disney Plus has been pushing a lot back, but I think WandaVision's coming out this year, which I'm pretty excited for.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer, so it looks, you know, different.
Yeah. So, and I think recently I watched a video this morning where Benedict Cumberbatch is coming to Spider-Man 3.
Yeah,
dude, Spider-Man 3 is going to be so good.
Yeah, well, isn't it strange that Doctor Strange hasn't had a standalone movie since, you know, like 2016? I think
it's been that long, eh?
Yeah, like
he's got a second one.
He's got a second one coming, but it's not coming for another couple of years, I think.
No, I think what they're going to try and do is do like a Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man situation where like you put you put him in amongst other films. So you got the One Division, you got Spider-Man 3, Endgame, all those sort of things to keep the character interesting, and then come his own. He's dealing with all the issues that he's sort of played around with before. So that should be quite interesting. I think Sam Raimi's directing that as well. The second one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. See, because he did the original Spider-Man.
What's it called? The something madness, multiverse of madness.
The multiverse of madness. Yep.
Definitely.
Don't know when that's coming out, but mate, I'm excited. Benedict Cumberbatch, fantastic actor. Love him.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So to wrap up the podcast, last question: where can we find you on social media? What do you want to plug?
Go watch my proof of concept for my web series, Pick It.
Links in the description.
Yeah, link in the description. Check out my Instagram. I post, occasionally what I'm up to on there. So
yeah,
check that out. And go vote for my film if you watch it and you like it. So
absolutely.
I can win and get money to make my web series. And
that's it.
Yeah, keep a lookout. I don't know when I'll make it or how I'll make it, but it'll be made one day. So I'm excited for that.
Absolutely. I believe in you, Alex. Everyone watching believes in you. Go vote in the links below. I'll put all the links and Instagram and things like that below. But to find out Creative Red Studios, follow us on Spotify and iTunes, as well as creativeredstudios.com. But yeah, with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next episode.